So I'm joined here by Alfreton's new owner, Will Rush, just for a sit-down interview, ready to talk about all things Alfreton and get a gauge of his vision for the club and what he wants going forward. So thanks for joining me, Will.
Absolutely.
First things first, what attracted you to buying a football club in England and specifically, Alfreton Town?
Yeah, I mean, non-league football is really the birthplace of football. England is the mecca of football. The English football pyramid is the greatest league in the world. So there's really no better place to go and buy a club if that's what you're looking to do. I think football as really the greatest sport in the world, the most popular sport in the world, and a sport that I'm personally extremely passionate about, this has long been a dream of mine. And I think you have a unique opportunity in football to be able to really rally behind the ability to transcend leagues. You can't do that in any other sport. You can't do that in any sport in the US. And so I think that's something that makes it really unique and something that really attracted me to it.
Yeah. And in your statement when you first took over the club and at the fan forum, you've mentioned how you want, the club to grow sustainably. For a fan, what does that sort of look like both on and off the pitch?
Yeah, I think we're not going to overpromise. We're not going to overspend. You're not going to see, us go and immediately switch over to full time and immediately make a ton of the improvements that people might want and that people have been asking for and have been that I've spoken to many about personally. It means that we're going to need to bring in revenue before we go and spend money. But ultimately, I think fans should look at this as a positive thing. We're building very sustainably. We have this under 23s team that's now coming under the club's wing as sort of a feeder system. We have this professional development program we've brought in with a few of these long-term prospects we hope to develop into first team members ideally in the long run. There's a lot of actions that are being taken to sustainably improve the club's performance for the long run.
And how you've mentioned there, you've got the under 23s development team and everything. How do you sort of go about modernizing a football club that's in the National League North that's still one of the sort of smaller clubs in the division, you'd say?
Yeah, I think it does start with making sure a good academy system is in place. And then the next place I would look would be to grow the audience, right? I mean, we're surrounded by incredible clubs. We're surrounded by a massive amount of fans that could be coming here every Saturday to watch football. The goal is to get them to come in, and then the other goal is to bring in a global audience of fans.
Yeah,
I think we do that by telling the incredible stories that we have here of all of from everyone from the Supporters Association to the fans that have been coming since the first match in this arena in 1959. To our players, our PDP boys, our under 23s, to the characters that we have on the operational side of things, like Billy. I think showing the world what we're doing here and the stories that we have to tell should bring a lot of the attention that we're looking for.
Absolutely. And you've had the supporters forum obviously just after taking over the club. Going forward, more long term, how do you sort of plan to continue to engage and continue to grow the relationship and sort of dialogue with the supporters as the club does grow?
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, is just speaking with the supporters whenever I can, understanding what issues they might have. And we might not be able to fix all of them, but making sure they know that they're heard. And when there is an opportunity to fix something, to do that in a way that is cost effective for the club, but that solves the issue that people are, have a grievance with. Also, when we're looking to make improvements, talking to supporters and saying, hey, what do you think needs to be improved most? Where should we be allocating resources to make your game experience better?
Yeah. And in terms of your long-term sort of vision for the club, obviously, I know that you're not going to sort of promise things in terms of saying we want to be in X division by X amount of time. But in terms of the long-term plan for the club, where would you like to see it in 5-10 years' time? If not specifically in terms of a league position.
Yeah, I would like to see it as a club that you'll walk around New York and you'd see someone wearing an Alfreton jersey.
Mhm.
That's what I'd want to see. I'd want it to be something that you're walking around, Chicago, LA, Hong Kong, Tokyo at night, and you hear somebody talking about Alfreton. That would be how I would speak about it in terms of attention. And that's, the way we get there is by one, creating very entertaining content and showing the world our game, and two is through playing really good football. And there's a lot that goes along, that will come along the way, but I would say that's the vision.
Yeah. And is a long-term vision of the club to eventually go fully professional, like a lot of other clubs in the division?
I think once you reach a certain level of performance, certain level of success, you have to, right? If you're a National League club, you're going full time.
Yeah.
We're, I think, 7 or 8 teams in our division now are already full time, which is difficult. I mean, it's tough as a part time team to have those, to not have the same amount of preparation between matches as the full time teams do, and you have to make up for it in other ways. And luckily, Billy has been fantastic at making up that difference, and I'm sure he will continue to over the course of this season, and really as long as we need to remain part-time. As soon as becoming full-time makes sense from a financial perspective and a performance perspective, we will be forced to make that move. But it's not, we're not going to force anything ourselves until it's the right time.